Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Jess. I am embracing Christmas right now. It is December 1st, so I have set up all my cozy Christmas blankets and pillows, and I've made a fresh cup of coffee because I have a story time for you today. This story time, it was definitely hard in the moment, I will tell you that, but now looking back on what happened, it is funny and a good story, so I can share it now. In the moment I was frustrated and was thinking it was the worst thing ever, but now it is funny and something that we will definitely keep in the memory books for a long time. So I am going to tell you about Vancouver's craziest snowstorm. So a little bit of a backstory. I live in Vancouver, Canada, and British Columbia, specifically Vancouver, we don't get as much snow as the other provinces in Canada. Usually when you hear about Canada, you picture so much snow and it getting really, really cold, and that is true in other provinces, but where I live in Vancouver, it really does not snow as much. And when it does snow, it's more of a novelty because it doesn't really happen as much. So when it does, everyone loves it and it's fun for the moment. But it also means that a lot of people aren't prepared for snow or don't know how to be prepared for snow. So last week on Tuesday, I believe it was November 29th, it had been in the forecast for a while that there was snow predicted on Tuesday, which is really exciting. And because, for those of you who don't know, my family are currently in the process of moving to New Zealand. So obviously Christmas in New Zealand is summertime. So I really wanted to make the effort to enjoy winter activities and enjoy our last wintry Christmas for a while. So there is this Vancouver German Christmas market in downtown Vancouver, and it's always a lot of fun, and my husband and I have been a couple of times before my son was born. But obviously the last 2 years with COVID, it wasn't on, but it was back on this year. And I thought, how cool would it be to take Nolan to a Christmas market and just enjoy our time at a cold kind of Christmas market. So we looked and we booked tickets for Tuesday, the November 29th. They had a sale on, which is always nice. And we thought, yeah, it'll be great. We looked at the forecast and we thought, oh, it's snowing, perfect. We'll get like a snowy Christmas market. This just is everything I envision when I think about like Christmas movies and they go to Christmas markets and it's always snowing and a little cold and you bundle up and you have your hot apple cider. I'm like, that's perfect. This is just the definition of an amazing, like real authentic winter Christmas market. So I said, yep, let's book tickets. Didn't really think anything of the snow. So Tuesday comes and it says that snow wasn't predicted until later in the evening, later in the day. So we thought that's okay. We're planning to go there for in the afternoon after my son's nap. Probably wouldn't stay too long because yeah, he's 2 and needs to go to bed. So we were like, yep, when he gets up from his nap, we'll drive. So from where I live to where Vancouver is, it's about an hour drive. Well, during my son's nap, we looked outside and it's starting to snow a little bit, but it's that nice snow. It's nice, kind of fluffy, soft snow. So we're like, yeah, this is going to be so fun. And it just kept snowing. So we're like, okay, like it's not a problem. This is nice snow. The market's going to be so much fun. I was getting so excited at this point. So my son wakes up, we bundle him up, we bundle us up, we get in the car, and we start driving downtown. And of course, I'm blasting Christmas music. Outside, the snow is sticking, so the trees are white, the ground is white, there's still beautiful snow falling, and traffic's fine, everyone's fine. So it takes us about an hour to get downtown. And it's freezing cold, but we made sure to bundle my son up. We brought a big cozy blanket for his stroller so he could stay nice and warm. and then we start to go and enjoy the Christmas market. And it was a really good time. There's like a free merry-go-round that we got to go on, and my son absolutely loved it. There's lots of cute little Christmas German markets that you can look at. They have lots of Christmassy German food, and we got hot apple ciders and churros, and it was all great. And then as the evening was going along, it was getting colder, snowing a lot more, and quite heavy. So the thing about when it snows in Vancouver as compared to other provinces, I believe that the snow here is more wet. That's how my husband described it. In other provinces, it's more of a dry snow, but in Vancouver, it's a very wet snow. So it gets very slushy, and when it was snowing really hard, it did kind of feel just like frozen rain. So that was kind of later on, so we decided, oh yeah, now it's a good time to leave. It was about 5:30 in the afternoon. We'd been there for about almost 2.5 hours. So we're like, yep, we've had a good time at the Christmas market. Let's head home. It's a bit of an hour drive, but if we leave now, we can drive slow and it'll be fine. So we get all packed up, get in the car, start driving. And then we looked at our GPS and it says it's going to take 2 hours to get home. And we thought, well, that's weird. Like, it usually only takes an hour. I wonder what's up with the GPS. I tell you not, we got stuck in traffic almost immediately. And we were so confused. Like, usually when there's snow, there is a bit more traffic because, you know, people like to be cautious, don't want to drive as fast in the snow. But this was like backed up traffic. So we were like, what is going on? So we're still driving, and we just look at the GPS and there's just red lines everywhere. Every pathway to get home is a red line, and we're like, oh no, this does not look good. And as we're driving, the snow is just continuing to fall down so heavy, and we realized that there had already been so many accidents. A lot of semi-trucks had slipped and they had blocked off exit ways. There'd been a lot of car accidents. The main bridge that we need to get home, a lot of people it had got really icy so quickly, and people were sliding off into the barriers, so they had to close a whole bridge down. Some of the other bridges that we take to get home, yes, semis were blocking them. There were car accidents. The tunnel that we take to get home was also blocked. So we were stuck in traffic. And I will remind you, I had my 2-year-old son. So he was a trooper. But in the beginning, we could see the time was getting late, and he was sitting down, and he doesn't like to be in his car seat for so long. So we're trying to give him snacks, trying to entertain him. But we really did not know what to expect with this traffic. And we were listening to the radio, and they just kept saying it was a traffic nightmare. And we're like, okay, hopefully this can clear up soon. So we would be driving one way, and then we would literally be in standstill traffic. And I've never been in traffic this bad before. We would literally be in the same spot for 20-30 minutes before we even moved a little bit. It was so frustrating because we'd be driving, and then the GPS would say this road has been closed, which meant that was no longer a pathway. So then we would try and turn around and go to another pathway, to another bridge or to another tunnel, and then it would tell us that more roads were closed, and it was just absolutely bonkers. I think if it was just my husband and I, it wouldn't have been so terrible. But the hard part was that my 2-year-old son was in the car with us, and he was having such a hard time falling asleep. We could tell that he was exhausted. He did not like being stuck in his car seat for so long, and we were all getting frustrated. And the worst part is just being in standstill traffic and knowing that you can't move. And even worse when you're like on a highway and you're like, we're stuck. We literally can't get out of this line. So yeah, it just continued to snow. Roads kept on closing. Bridges and tunnels were closed. And the hardest part is you see how impatient people can be. We would be in traffic, and there would be people behind us that just decided that they didn't want to wait there anymore. So they would literally just drive and try and merge up ahead, which for me just, you know, is so unfair. Like, we're all in the same boat. Just wait where you are. You don't need to jump 10 cars ahead. Like, I don't know where that's going to get you. It's just going to mess it up for the rest of us. And you can really tell how not prepared people were. People still had their summer tires on their car, and we would be driving and you would just see people's tires spinning because they didn't have the winter tires on. They had no grip and the road was icy, and I'm like, this is how accidents happen. And I totally trust my husband's driving, but I was always worried when we were driving past big trucks or cars. I'm like, please don't slide into us. We saw truck drivers putting chains on their tires, and it was so bad that people were, if they could, they were abandoning their cars, and even buses were being abandoned on the side of the road, and people would just get out and start walking to get somewhere, and they would leaving their cars overnight because the traffic was that standstill and that terrible. We eventually got home. We left Vancouver Christmas market at 5:45 p.m. It's supposed to take us an hour to get from Vancouver to our home. We did not get home until 3:45 a.m. It took us 10 hours to get home, which in the moment, again, was so frustrating. Bless my husband, he was so patient, he was so calm. I was the one that was frustrated and just like, oh, I just want to get out of here. But he was so patient and calm, and I really, really appreciate that about him. But it took us 10 hours, and my poor son sitting in his car seat for 10 hours and not having he couldn't fall asleep. My poor baby, he fell asleep right at the end. I think he fell asleep for the last hour of the car ride. And then we got home at 3:45, and we put him to bed at 4. And he only slept for 4 hours, but the whole day he was just exhausted. He had a long nap that next day, and he went to bed early. So hopefully he's caught up on sleep or catching up on sleep, but that was definitely not enough sleep for a small baby. But he did really well despite being in a car seat for that long. But I just wanted to share that because in the 6 years that I've lived in Vancouver, and even hearing from other people, there's never been a snowstorm that bad where the traffic was just terrible. It was so bad. The next day when I went to work, I heard stories from other people just saying that they were waiting for buses that never came, and they were waiting outside for like 3 hours, or people had to drive and then just give up and go stay the night at someone's house that they knew that were close by. It was nuts. So that is my story time today of the craziest snowstorm in Vancouver. And we just got to be a part of it. So that is one for the memory books about our time in Vancouver. But I just wanted to share that with you. Let me know if you've ever been in terrible traffic for that long. My husband and I were like, I wonder where else we could have gone in 10 hours. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.